Okay, welcome guys to our new podcast, AI powered agility. It's a privilege that I have my friend Niels out as my fellow colleague PST here to run a new series of podcasts to share our learnings and thoughts about AI. Let's jump into it, quickly and start our work with a short introduction. Niels, could you please start our work with your introduction?
Of course, matey. And by the way, it's my first official recording of a podcast. So, all start is rough. So, but we'll see, where it takes us and if we get better and better, of course. So, my name is Niels Oud. Like matey said, I'm also a PST, a professional Scrum trainer for Scrum.org. I've been that for many, many years, and I really focus on empowering organizations to become more agile. And these days, I notice that AI is all around us. I use it and apply it every day in my life. So we will take agility into the next in the next step. It will be agility with AI, and we're gonna discover and uncover all kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you very much for your introduction. Let me introduce myself as well. My name is Mehdi Hosseini. I'm as well a PhD with the Scrum.org, and I have been working in the software industry for around 25 years. And these days, we see that AI is changing the way we work. So we cannot ignore it. It was our, trigger to start, investigating how AI works, and of course, sharing our learnings with the Agile community to help them to embrace this new way of working. Okay, uh, we have decided a name for the first episode, which is AI is your new assistant. Okay, let's get started with this, message here. Nils, why do we think that AI is our new assistant? Isn't it a threat for us or a danger?
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that, Mehdi. And by the way, a small reflection that there's another podcast series, AI, your new friend or your new colleague in Dutch. And that's kind of what we based upon our podcast as well. So just to give credits to them as well, but we'll take it into our own space of agility. That's, I guess, how we
Yeah,
stand out from that other podcast series.
definitely with the
So
focus
yeah,
on
they
like,
really inspired me by saying that hey, you should look AI as your new colleague, and not as your enemy, not as your competitive in the market, whatever. Right? It is really something that can help you and your organization and your colleagues to do things better, to or more efficient or more effective, or with more credibility or with deeper research. So that's kind of how I look at AI, not being, against us, but working for us, right? I see a world of opportunities, and I think that's why we are inspired to start this podcast, really, to look at, okay, what are these opportunities? And the more and more I get into it, the more and more I'm amazed about the world it opens for us. And maybe you and I have run now on a couple of trainings together,
yeah,
that is done the AI essentials for product owners. And we also learn from the people that come to our trainings. And I think that you and I are becoming more and more, not the expert in this field, but much more and more knowledgeable. And we have a lot of things to share with our audience.
yeah, definitely. And let's be honest, AI is real and everyone can see it on their day-to-day life, and you cannot ignore it. So uh, we hear a lot that, for example, many people are worried about one day in the future they will be replaced with AI. Okay. What is your advice to this group of people that they are afraid of this new electricity and technology to their work? What is your advice, Niels?
Yeah, of course, the advice is it is kind of very, of course, individual, right? And how you take it and how you stand in the world, perhaps even what culture you are and what company you are. It varies a lot for our audience, right? But in general, I would say if you compare it to, sometimes I say, hey, it's the new electricity, it's the new internet. era, right? And we also believe that the AI is another very big step, into our future. And like you say, it's already out there and will only become more and more present. We should
Yeah.
embrace it, right? And if you embrace it, you can really grow with it and you can start applying it. And but if you kind of say, hey, this is far from my bed show, and I don't want to, I think it's a hype or whatever, yeah, then you may feel that some point of day you may find yourself outrun by AI or by your colleagues who are embracing AI. So, hey, my general advice would be don't be afraid of it. Just try it out. Start with it, press enter, just do something, and then you will
Mm.
figure out that it can really help you, and you don't have to be afraid of it, or you don't. So yeah, that's how I look at it. So embrace it and take that first step.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, get your hands dirty and see
Yeah,
what the result would be. Yeah, why
yeah,
not? Why not? And we
yeah,
see that there are a lot of, things that people want to navigate, but there is another barrier here, which they don't know where they should start their work.
yeah.
Any thought about this one, Niels?
Yeah, definitely, Mehdi, and that's why we have teamed up already for a couple of months now together.
Yeah,
Because on my side, I started like AI essentials for product owners training and certified
yeah,
training, because I think that we hear a lot about AI. A lot of courses are out there, but not specifically for a certain accountability or for a certain role. That's why I started for product owners, right? And you did the same thing parallel for me, but we didn't even know it, right? You started with AI essentials for Scrum Masters, right? And then
yeah,
figured out, hey, we're both doing the same thing, applying it to a certain role, and that's kind of how it came about.
yeah. Okay, wonderful. Uh, uh, could you please share one of your experiences that AI capabilities shocked you, especially in the first steps that you wanted to experience it for the first time?
Yeah. I'm not so sure, maybe if you're okay about the first time, but let's say my latest experience, which
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
shocked me, right? And not
Yeah.
shocked, but I again realized that the step from knowing about AI and what it can do and actually applying it, that's the biggest hurdle. And that's why we have
Oh.
these trainings, right? To get people doing it. And it same applies for me. So I learned already months ago that if I have a sales call, or for product owners when I do a customer interview, right, that you can really record it, and of course with the consent of the other party, and then
Yeah.
ask AI, hey, what were the key takeaways from this meeting, and how did I do it? Did I talk too much? Did I talk too less? Do you have any advice for me for the next call? What were the most important things that the other party brought up, or what I brought up? What were the action items, and what could be a follow up for this, right? So I did that last week when I had a sales call with a certain company, and it amazed me about that. I had a very good call, but it gave me
Mm.
also very good feedback about what I can do better next time, what I did well, what I should reinforce, but also about a certain point that I, during the conversation, actually I forgot about, and it reminds me that that was important for the customer, right? So I
Ah.
remember that, and I can use that, when I start working with them. Now, I think that is kind of what would be my most yeah example, my most present example about bridging that gap between knowing about it, because I knew I had to do this already a long time ago and it could bring benefit, and now actually doing it. And now it's becoming part of my life. So next
Yeah.
time I have a customer interview, as a product owner, or next time I have an interview with a certain customer, right? I will ask them, are you okay if I record it? Because it will help both of us, right? And then
Yeah.
recording is to how you started this podcast about your new colleague. Are you okay if I bring my new colleague into this meeting? And this new
Oh, that's a
colleague
good
will
one.
then just, record what we're doing. And in the end, will give me advice about, what I can do better and what we discussed and what our action points are. And you will also coach me about the next steps. Are we okay with that? So Yeah, that's for me such an eye opener, and I already applying all kinds of other AI tools, right? But still, being months and months or over a year into this world, I still didn't force myself to start using this AI tool on a regular basis. It's not part of my daily life yet. And what about you,
Yeah.
mate? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe one question before I
yeah,
answer your
sure.
question. Probably our audience are interested in knowing which tool did you use for recording that call with your customer?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Now I started using ChatGPT. Yeah, I just
Huh?
said, okay, record, the record button. Now I also found out that it records for 10 minutes and then it stops. So then you have to start recording again. So it's not the best setup. But
Yeah,
on the other hand, it was a sales call of half an hour. So I had to do three, let's say, different tapes. But in the
yeah,
end, ChatGPT, I just said, can you give me advice, strengths, weaknesses, and all the other things, right? Over the last three recordings that we did. And it gave me such an excellent feedback. Now, I know there are better tools out there, right? So that will be my next step. There are fireflies.ai. There is, I think, otter.ai. There are more of them out there. And that's another thing, matey. I mean, what is now the best tool to use may be the worst in a couple of weeks' time because there is maybe another better AI tool. But it's about applying it in your job.
yeah,
The
yeah.
tool doesn't
Apply.
really matter that much, right?
I agree.
Because the moment I say it, I'm probably already out of date with my tool.
Yeah,
It's about
definitely,
using it
definitely.
effectively in your daily life.
Yeah. Until you use it, you cannot understand
Yeah,
how powerful it is. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
And
Um,
sometimes there's this barrier of not doing it. And that's what we
yeah,
try to
yeah,
kind of, get away from. Just do it. Get out of your comfort zone. All right.
yeah,
Press
definitely.
enter. Do it.
Okay, from my side, I'm used to, create a lot of videos and share them. I share them on my YouTube channel and these things. And one of the, parts of the process of creating videos is creating a script for your videos, and it's truly time consuming. But for the first time that I started using AI was that I asked one of these tools, probably ChatGPT, hey, could you please write, a text, a paragraph for this topic with 300, words, and all of a sudden, it gave me a great text, and I was like, huh, really? And I understood the power behind these, tools. And then, since then, I, started using them more, effectively by investing in myself to understand how AI works, how we can communicate better with these tools.
Yeah.
To be honest, these days, I love DeepSeek more than other tools, LLM tools like ChatGPT, because you can compare their answers, and I see that DeepSeek gives me better answers, so why shouldn't I use that one? But it is for today. Maybe tomorrow we will have another more powerful tools that we can
Yeah.
use. But the point is that, hey guys, we need to step in, start using these tools, and they are like free hired, assistant for you. You have it, but you are not aware that you have it unless you start using them. It was my story.
Nice, matey. Nice. And
Yeah.
I think that's also one of the things we will discuss in future, right? That each LLM or like say each AI tool, and we will go more into details in the next
Mhm.
podcast series, right? They serve a certain they've got kind of skills, right? Like your new colleagues, right? You hire a
Yep.
colleague who is very good in legal matters. You hire a colleague who is very a creative director kind of person, right? And you
Yep.
have to understand, what their strengths are and then use it accordingly. So DeepSeek may be for you the best, giving you the best answers for videos. But if you write something for like poetry or whatever, you may say, hey, but I've got
Yep.
another colleague, right, who's very good in writing poetry. And actually,
Yep.
that is Claude, for example, right?
Yep.
That's how we
Yep.
should look at it. You should also understand which tools are out there, what are their strengths, what are the strengths of your new colleagues, and then use them, wisely. Yeah? It wouldn't be fair to ask a creative director to write a very business-like email, right? But
Yeah,
ChatGPT could do that much better.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Why not? So we
That is
should be
how we look at it.
unbiased, of
Yeah,
any single tools. Yeah, fully agree.
yeah,
Fully agree.
yeah. And if you're not aware of that, if you stick to one AI tool, now then you may fall into the trap that you think, now this is the AI tool. And by the way, I'm actually a bit disappointed sometimes in what I get as an answer. Well, perhaps you asked a question to your new AI colleague, which was not very well made for that purpose, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Cool. Nils, I think we can start wrapping up our, conversation for today for
yeah,
the first episode. I just want to mention a few things. The main intention behind this series of podcast AI powered agility is to share our latest learnings as PhDs and helping agile practitioners to become aware of this newcomer and put our message out there and invite people. Hey guys, instead of being reluctant and resist against embracing this newcomer, start taking it, make your hands dirty, and you will see how great new colleague you will have with you. And probably we will introduce various AI tools, which gives you practical, approach for those tools. And these are the things that we are going to do for you. More than that, for those audience who wants to invest more in themselves, we have our training courses as well. In fact, at the moment we have 4 courses: AI Essentials for Product Owner, AI Essentials for Scrum Master, AI Essentials for Agile Leadership, and finally AI Essentials for Scaling Scrum. So with our free podcast, you will get a lot of great value things for free. But if you want to invest in yourself more, you will be completely welcome to one of our classes.
yeah.
Nils, as a closing sentences and text, would you please elaborate?
Yeah, no, again, Mehdi, I think you kind of you wrapped it up very nicely. And as I often say, right, really start investing into yourself. Really go on this journey before AI overtakes you. I think that's kind of my mantra.
Yeah.
So stay with us and listen to many more exciting podcasts and information and knowledge we will be sharing with you. And Mehdi, this was a real pleasure doing this podcast with you.
Yeah, my pleasure. And guys, just for your information, we will release our episodes on a weekly basis. So next week you will receive our second episode of this podcast. And of course, if you want to hear from us about any specific, topic regarding AI and agility, comment and inform us, then we will talk about that topic in one of our episodes. Okay. We are done. Nils, thank you very much for coming to this episode. Let's go and prepare ourselves for the second episode.
Absolutely.